Okay, everyone, now that you've had a chance to think about the wildcard essay and give some consideration to topics that might interest you, I thought I'd go ahead and just include a little tutorial to get you started. Sometimes it's wonderful to have a world of topics at your disposal. And other times it's like, oh my gosh, a world of topics is at my disposal. I don't know what to do. So that's when I usually sit down and I open up Google and I ask it a question, whatever comes to mind. Remember that this particular essay needs to be at the core about one or more adolescents. So it depends on what I want to study, what I'm interested in, that will guide me through the process of creating an essay. And one of the things that I want to start with you is, do you want to have a topic that's inside the box, or are you one of those people who like to think outside the box? And you'll notice that whenever I had that page, study page in the weeks, I showed you some topics that are inside the box, and then I included some topics that are outside the box to get you an idea. Individually, this depends on you. I don't want you to think of a topic that seems like it's the easiest to write. That never works well. I've had years of experience with this, and those essays never turn out well. Instead, think about, what are you interested in? Science, biology, zoology, literature, creative writing, characters, hero type people. Think about what areas interest you, and don't tell me nothing because it's not true. So I want to keep that in mind whenever I consider a topic. But here's what's really important, and that is that once I select a topic, I need to make sure that I am creating an argument essay. Let me show you the difference. I know that there's study pages on this, but I want to go over it real quickly here too. Let's say this is my broad topic that I decided upon. I've always found it very interesting to see how these canine units that have not been in existence for that long, really, how they benefit soldiers. So let's say I'm going to say young canine dogs are sometimes trained for combat. Great. Now I'm going to go to Google. Since my topic has to do with the training of young canine dogs, that's where I'm going to start with a question that I'm going to ask Google. What exactly is the training technique for young canine dogs? Let's see what I find. Boom. There are all sorts of articles that will explain to me how these dogs are trained. And that's where my research is going to start. And as soon as I open up one of these articles, what am I going to do the very first thing? That's right. I'm going to add it to my EasyBib project. Let's go there together. So I create the project in EasyBib, and you can follow the other instructions that are throughout the course about creating an EasyBib bibliography. Now here's the important part, and I want you to just listen. If I write about canine young dogs and how they are trained, that's a book report. That is not a position essay. You can see that, right? I'm just looking up articles that tell me how a canine dog is trained, and that's it. That's a research paper. That's a book report. That is not what we are writing here. So what I need to do is take it one step further. This is how they are trained. This is why they are worthy soldiers, and it's why they are worth the money that it costs to be trained. And the last part of my position, and the point that makes it an argument position essay, is that I say, and therefore, more funding should be funneled into the canine program. Now I just have to research how much does it cost to train the canine dogs, and who is paying that bill right now, and are they paying enough? And I almost can promise you that it's not going to be enough. And then I'm going to look at who in positions of authority have proposed bills, legislation, state things, government things, programs to supplement the income required to raise these dogs. Now you can see that I've moved beyond a simple book report and into the world of position papers. I'm taking a position. People on the other side are going to say, no, it's not worth it. We can't afford it. We can't spend any money on it. We can't this, that, and the other. And I have to acknowledge those people who would say that program isn't worth it. There are going to be some of those people because obviously it's not getting the funding that it needs. Somebody's standing in the way of that funding. Who is it? And why do I think that the program requires attention? Do you see that? No matter what you are talking about, whether you are talking about a Disney princess or whether you are talking about government-sponsored canine unit projects and everything in between, there are two sides to whatever issue you find with that. Yes? So, have a good time with that, and remember that you need to move outside of a book report. And that part is the section of your outline for your essay where you move beyond informative and into the area of supported opinion. You want to find people who agree with you. That would be anybody in that sphere that agrees with you. And then you want to state that in your conclusion, whether it's cause and effect. Now that is, cause and effect would be in the realm of theory. What were the ramifications of this, that, or the other? Some people like to look at, let's say, the effects of war on young men who are drafted into war. Well, the last time there was a draft was the Vietnam War. And so you could Google and ask a question. What became of the young adolescent men who were drafted into the Vietnam War? Right? And that way you have moved beyond a simple book report and into the area of research and position. Okay, that concludes this tutorial. Again, email me if you have questions about your topic. As you know, this is the area where I want to hear from you. Asking about a grade or why you didn't get a grade is fine, and I will answer those questions. But I really welcome the questions about topics and how I can help you craft and develop your topic into an argument essay, otherwise known as a position paper. That concludes this tutorial.